never fill up my gas at Costco. I have been a member for years. I do not get my gas there purely because I can use my time differently and get those savings or get that money back. There are a lot of factors to this, but I will cut it down into whether you are paid hourly or salary, whether you get to control your hours, and how big your gas tank is. For instance, my car only has a 10-gallon gas tank. So the Costco gas is about 50 cents cheaper than my regular spot. So 50 cents, if I went from an empty tank to full, I would save $5. Now, it takes 15 minutes at my local Costco to get from the line to the actual pump, and then, I don't know, it takes 3, 4, 5 minutes to pump, so we'll call it 20 minutes, but 15 minutes of waiting. Now, in those 15 minutes, most people cannot choose to work an extra 15 minutes and get paid, and I understand that. So it makes a lot of sense to wait in line at Costco. But for me, I get paid hourly, and I get to choose my hours because I'm a contractor. So for me, I lose 15 minutes of time that I would be able to work, and I also get to choose if I want to work. So for instance, I could spend not that 15 minutes of time sitting in the line at Costco. I could spend $5 more filling up on gas, and then I could just go home and work for 15 minutes and make my savings back, because I'd only save $5, but it would take me 15 minutes, which is about 33 cents per minute. That essentially I would be saving, right? Because 15 times 33 cents, that's about $5. Now, if the savings were bigger, it would make more sense, but for me, I get to choose my hours. If you work at a restaurant or you work in a service business and you are allowed to pick overtime, and I'm not saying take over someone's shift, but you could just clock in an extra hour, it makes more sense to clock in 1 extra hour at work than to wait in line and get the savings at Costco, especially because at work, you know what you're in for. You know that you're in for 1 hour. At Costco, the line may be very long, you may have issues at the pump, you might get nicked by someone, whatever the case might be, and so I don't fill up at Costco for that reason. If you have a really big car, let's say you have 25 gallons in your tank, and you save 50 cents a gallon, then yeah, that's more significant savings. This video is probably super bumpy, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on it, whether it makes sense to fill up at Costco. So I'm curious, what sort of car do you drive? How many gallons does it take? Do you get paid hourly or salary? And do you always fill up at Costco, or do you just fill up at Costco if you are passing through on a weekday and the line is super short? Because I do know a couple people with McLarens who fill up at Costco, and I'm sure there's a reason for it. But I just want to see if it makes sense for you to fill up at Costco or to drive further away from your house to get to a cheaper station. Because for me, it doesn't, and I want to know what it's like for the rest of the world.